Thank you to our sponsors for today's video: StarCharge, InfyPower, Nokian Tyres, and Amber. StarCharge is the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world and is also a provider of residential and commercial battery storage, as well as microgrid solutions. InfyPower is the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power. This video is also brought to you by Nokian Tyres, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made-in-USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantires.com/EV. And Amber, providing modern protection plans for your Tesla's battery and more, without the hassle of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description to explore their plan options and use code SPEC5 for a 5% discount on all plans. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to another Hogback Driver Assistance Challenge. Today we are putting the brand new Porsche Macan Electric on the toughest and I think only consistent driver assistance test here on YouTube. This is where we are testing all of the car's driver helping functions. Now, traditionally, a Porsche is meant to be human driven, although especially with the road trip capability that this Macan Electric offers with really good range and incredible charging performance, we want to see how some of the lane centering and other sort of emergency functions work on the vehicle. There's some really cool things in here that I've never seen before when it comes to driver safety. So I'm really looking forward to testing some of those, I don't know, safety related functions out. And then we are going to run it on some of the twistiest and toughest sections of American highway to see how the lane centering works. We've run Taycan in this test before, Jordan, and it did pretty badly, like almost bottom of the list. And everyone's arguments like, yeah, you're supposed to drive a Porsche. However, the Innodrive function of the Macan is actually a completely different system than the Taycan, even though they're branded the same. So I think this should be similar to like Audi Q6 e-tron and A6 e-tron since it's built on PPE. But then some of the visuals are very much Porsche. This one's also equipped with the incredible head-up display that I hope we can get a video shot for everyone because it's very hard to capture it, but it just adds to the entire driver assistance experience. So join me and Jordan for a full evaluation of the Porsche Macan's driver assistance systems. Here it is, Jordan, in its $130,000 specification, the Porsche Macan Turbo.
This thing looks really good, actually.
Okay, the spec is on point. Oak green Neo, awesome color. It's been a communication color for Porsche this year, and I'm glad that our dealer got this one in this spec. And I should also give a huge shout out to Porsche Fort Collins. The thing is, Porsche Fort Collins got this car in, and we know the guys over there, they're great. And they're like, guys, we have everyone's excited to see it. But what they said to us was, we want you to take the car for a week and just make as many videos, go have fun with it, do whatever you want. Now, of course, we borrow cars from Porsche a lot, but this car is coming well ahead of when we would be able to borrow a Porsche test vehicle. And I just cannot thank Porsche Fort Collins enough for, honestly, giving up some of their business maybe in terms of test drives to let us make this content for you. This is the only Macan they have. I think maybe actually a Macan 4 got there yesterday, Jordan, but just that is so cool of these guys. They just came under new ownership. The new owners are awesome. So shout out Indigo Group, shout out Porsche Fort Collins for saying, take this, mile it up, which a dealer never says, because I won't really test a car really unless it has 500 miles on it, unless we need to. So we're part of the miling up process here. So we're able to do 10% challenge, range tests, all of these other things, all thanks to Porsche Fort Collins. So if you're gonna buy a Macan, buy it from them. Actually, my mom's doing that, Jordan. My mom lives in Connecticut. And I was like, our dealer's so great. You just have to get your car from them. They support us. They're awesome. And so here they're taking delivery of their Macan here soon at Porsche Fort Collins. Okay, enough of an ad. They didn't pay us for that, but they did give us the car. So huge shout out. Jordan, this car is built on PPE, Premium Platform Electric, and it is the first PPE car we are testing. And this is actually the first test of a first PPE car. Of an actual test. We've done driving reviews and other stuff, but this is part of our testing process that we run every vehicle through. What is your expectation here?
I don't know, because Taycan, like you said, is not amazing, but I think Audi is pretty decent with their driver assistance. So this whole platform has been fascinating to me, shared between Porsche and Audi. I drove the Q6 e-tron briefly, I know you did as well, and it's a good car, but the Q6 approach has one pedal driving and stuff, whereas the Macan doesn't have one pedal driving, right? Because it's meant to be driven.
It's a two pedal driving car.
Got two pedals, so it's meant to be driven. So that's kind of where my expectation is with this. Not maybe the best driver assistance, but probably fine for straight highways, which is what most people are doing. But
so I used it the whole way down here from Fort Collins.
Right.
It's, you know, and it was really foggy out, and it was, you know, the sun's coming up now, but it was early morning, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Just locked in the lane. I cannot say the same about Taycan. We have a Taycan at the office right now that I've just put like 10,000 miles on. And yeah, this is way better already. So my expectations are raised a little bit, which I think is good. I think this is a car that, yes, people buy Porsches to drive. The Macan's never been the like driving enthusiast choice anyway. And I think for the purpose of this car, for the people that I know are getting them, I know a lot of people getting electric Macans, by the way, Jordan. They're gonna be quite popular. I think this needs a good driver assistance system. So let's talk about, I don't know, just some basic specs on the car, and then we'll get into all the sensors and things. But it's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, 95 kilowatt hour usable. This one's the turbo, well over 600 horsepower. With launch control, it boogies. You can drift it. You can do all the Porsche stuff. 270 kilowatt peak charging, but then holds it really well. On a road trip, this should match almost the previous generation Taycan, but of course, we are gonna find out when we get it in our 10% challenge. This one is spec'd on the big 22s. I think they're 22s.
They
right,
are
Jordan?
22s, and it looks so good.
255s up front, and in the rear, 295. So we got some chunky rubber on this thing. And so, you know, maybe this particular spec isn't the road tripping spec, but actually my mom's Macan is gonna have the Aero wheels, and she'll have the 4, which should be a little bit more efficient. So I can't wait to see how her car does in the 10% challenge. Anyway, driver assistance, that's what this video is all about. Let's talk about the testing procedures, Jordan, because it is kind of a real world test.
Yeah, it's a real world highway. We didn't close it down.
Right. And that's really the main, excuse me, that's really the main issue or non-repeatability that we run into here. Traffic conditions and also road conditions change over time. So, you know, on this day, in this experience, we run every car on this loop, but essentially it could be a little bit different.
Right. But weather conditions can change with range tests and everything. I think it is fairly repeatable.
Yeah.
And at least watching this video, I mean, score aside, if you watch this video, you'll have a good idea of what this car is good or bad at.
Right, so there's an objective scoring portion, which we're gonna walk everyone through, and essentially we can award points before we even head off for functional related accolades, if you will. Basically, abilities where if you simulate a medical emergency and you're no longer able to take over the vehicle, will it come to a stop? Will it put the hazards on? Or will it just put you into a guardrail like a Kia or a Hyundai? And so, you know, stuff like that we award points to. Then when we head out on our roughly 30-mile loop, we can only detract points from that point from an objective scoring. If it hits a line, if it disengages for no reason, we start pulling points away. And at the end, we award a score to the vehicle that is hopefully somewhat representative of how the system performs. However, if you watch the video, that's where you're really going to get all of that subjective feel with us in real time about how the vehicle is handling this situation versus that situation. That doesn't necessarily equate to a number on paper. So just wanted to get that out there.
Right.
So Jordan, the loop, tell us about the Hogback.
So it is about, like you said, 30 miles round trip. I forget the number of corners, but windy roads like this, it's I-70. It is the most treacherous section of I-70, besides maybe Glenwood Canyon. But
yeah, I think Glenwood Canyon's worse, but other than that,
pretty far away. So this is like a really easy one for us to get to. And it is about 40 something corners, 60, I forget. It's just a lot of switch back and forth, a lot of exits off and on, just a lot of road conditions that I think if a car can do well here, it'll do well anywhere else.
That's what we always say. And, you know, I can already tell you this Macan is a huge step up from Taycan, but I don't think there's a lot of people that are cross-shopping Taycan and Macan, Jordan.
Right. This is a lot of times Macan versus maybe the other PPE car like Q6 e-tron
or even Model Y.
Model Y, yeah.
And I think, you know, you're spending a lot more money for this than Model Y. And certainly there are people that'll just be like, I only drive Porsches, you know, spec it the way I want it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But I think there's a lot of people actually like my mom that take an objective viewpoint, which is like, what are you getting for the extra money?
Right.
And that's what we're going to find out here. So let's jump inside. Let's award it some scores. Let's see what happens when we have a basically driver inattentiveness, and then head out on the Hogback.
I guess before we do that though, sensors really quick, just for anyone who's curious.
Yes, sensors. So we have a single camera here in the windshield.
So not 3 cameras or 2 like we see on some other cars.
Correct. Single camera. And then we have a radar unit down here, which is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's heated. I think it must be.
Okay.
But it is quite a huge radar down there. So, you know, a lot of cars that we're testing, i7, other vehicles have the dual camera arrays in there.
Right.
But this one, just a single camera. There are ultrasonics around the vehicle, Jordan. You can see them kind of here. It's actually integrated really nicely.
Yeah,
around, and the tolerances on all these different materials on the bumper are nice. Actually, go back and on our out of spec detailing channel, we have the build quality review, Jordan. Mm-hmm. You would expect it to do well because it's a Porsche. It did not.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, Colton probably came to it with a bit more nitpicking than he normally would just because it's a Porsche,
right.
But it certainly is like some questionable things here.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. And this is an early car, but that's still no excuse in my book. And if I bought this car, to me, I don't care.
It looks good to me.
Yeah, but we actually looked in the light. The bumpers are a different color than the body color.
Right.
Some of the fitment stuff's just a little off. Not that bad, to be honest.
Okay.
But comparing to previous Macan and also Cayenne and other vehicles, 911s that he's done, he's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. What else? We got sensors back here. And this one is spec'd with the 360-degree view camera.
Right.
Which is not standard.
Really?
It's $1,000.
Oh my God.
My mom did not spec that. And I was like, Mom, what are you doing?
Okay, well, I will not be driving your mom's car.
What we're going to say is we're not going to make fun of my mom's spec.
Okay.
Too much.
Okay.
I tried everything possible to get head-up display, Bose, rear steer. And she was just like, base, but massaging seats.
Nice.
And Porsche crest on the headrest. Okay. I don't know why. Anyway, we're not making fun of my mom. I'm glad she's getting her Macan. It's going to be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to it. But I know already I can feel the comments like, Kathy, you didn't spec this on yours. Mostly from me.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's score this thing.
Yeah.
So the score of the Macan EV, starting out before we do the actual testing.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the driver assistance. As I said, I've never driven this.
Yeah.
But
you should drive it.
I should.
Maybe I'll take the i7 back. You take this.
Capacitive wheel.
Don't remember. We'll have to look.
Okay.
I think it is capacitive.
Yep.
Yeah. Almost for sure capacitive.
Okay. Driver safety, any eye tracking of any sort?
Not that I can tell. And I even held, my phone up here to look, and I couldn't see any of the red flashing.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll find it in the mirror. I didn't see any of it.
Okay. Nothing of that map. Okay. Gauge cluster, does it show cars around you?
So there is this configurable gauge cluster, and there is a whole driver assistance menu here. And I do believe it shows cars around us. We will double check on the highway. This is one of those that we haven't lived with.
Yep.
So a lot of times we do a lot of prep work before we do this, but we just picked up this car. So
right.
Yep.
It does not limit lane centering to pre-mapped highways?
Correct. You can lane center everywhere.
Anywhere. Great. All right. So does it adapt to speed limits?
Yes. In fact, when I click the mode button down here, I can say speed limits on or off, route adaptation on or off, or lane keeping on or off.
That's amazing. Does it do a speed limit offset?
Don't think so. So if I come here to the assistance menu, you can see here, I can choose what type of adaptive or function I'd like. So normally I would do adaptive cruise control, limiter, hill descent control, or off. Mm-hmm. The limiter is kind of cool, especially for Germany, where there's like a bunch of speed cameras everywhere and stuff. So it just kind of holds you at the max speed. But if I come here to intelligent speed adaptation, there doesn't seem to be anything. If I come here to speed limits, it doesn't seem to have any extra options. Like I can't go in and Yeah, I think you can do the acoustic speed warning, which pisses everyone off. That's also default on in all European spec by law.
Wow.
Yeah?
Okay.
So every EU car has to start with this on, and then you can program a hotkey to turn it off.
Right. It's so annoying.
Yes, it's so annoying. Emergency stop function is amazing. We'll get into that in a moment. But I don't see anything on here about, a lane speed limit offset. So no.
Right. Okay.
That's annoying.
Yeah. And is there any adaptive?
So, but we take away points, right? So we say adaptive speed limits is 5, but if you can't go an offset, no one drives exactly the speed limit. So we take away all benefit.
-5, yes.
Yes.
Is there any adaptive system aggressiveness? Like, does it change with the driving mode?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I have not experienced that. It's possible there's some like slight changes normal to sport, but not like anything a user would really feel.
Okay, makes sense. No automatic lane changes,
No
I'm
automatic
guessing.
changes.
Okay.
You hit the signal, turns off steering, make the lane change, and then it automatically recenters.
Right.
You don't
all
need
right.
to like restart anything.
And then the next section is, what if we come to a driver unresponsive situation? We got to figure out what to call this, but
Right, yeah. So I think driver unresponsive test is probably nice. I like the non-functioning human.
Yeah.
But, genuinely, let's say you're sitting on the system and you have a medical emergency or fall asleep. How does the car protect you? We've seen some of the worst systems and some of the best. And so let's take a look to see what Macan does. We are heading out now to simulate a non-functioning human being behind the wheel.
right. What happens if Kyle were to become dead or seizure or something that prohibits you from actually driving?
Make up a medical emergency insert here. What should we actually use that's appropriate? I don't know. I'm not very good at being PG friendly, so I have to try really hard on YouTube to not piss people off. Okay, so here we go. Lane centering on. I don't think it does eye tracking. It's already asking me to touch the wheel here, Jordan.
Wow.
But let's just see what the warnings look like. This is like really, you're cruising down the highway, you fall asleep, something happens. How does the car protect you? Another warning here that says take over steering. Nothing in my head-up display, surprisingly.
Okay. No audible things either.
Nothing audible at the moment. It's going for a while.
Wow.
Oh, there we go. Take over steering in red. It is dinging.
Still going ways.
Oh, hard brake. Driver takeover required. Yankee. Horns going. Jamming the brakes. Seatbelts going.
Wow.
Hazards on. It keeps yanking the seatbelt. Performing emergency stop. Doors just unlocked. Interior lights just turned on. And it went into park with the hazards on.
That's like...
And it says, emergency call.
Making emergency call.
Oh, God. How do we stop it?
No, let's see what they say. Your current location.
This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance.
Amazing.
Initiate emergency stop. That's what we're going to test next. How long does it take for them to answer?
And if you were dead, who would answer? On our end.
Let's try.
Oh, God.
Wow, they really don't answer that quick.
It's a Sunday.
It's Sunday morning. Sorry, you've reached the voicemail. I don't know how to end it, to be honest. Maybe this one. But I'm going to, this is important. How long does it take for them to answer?
So A+ and everything until this part.
I don't like the park. I wish it stayed in drive.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the horn, the lights. Damn. Freaking Porsche.
Wow.
Oh, Kia could learn a lot from that. And Hyundai.
Can we just send that section as a clip to Kia?
We could do a little off-road hill climb here, Jordan.
Oh.
That'd be a good way to test the brake.
How many videos can we plan before they answer?
Yeah, wow. They still... We should just put a fast-forward thing till they answer.
So emergency center, we received the automatic collision notification from your vehicle. Is everyone okay?
Yeah, we're good. No collision. We were just doing some testing. Nothing to worry about, but thank you for answering.
Okay, I just want to confirm there's no emergency, correct?
Zero emergency.
Okay, I'll go ahead and disconnect. I'm glad you're safe.
Yep, thank you.
Have a better rest of your day, okay?
Yep.
Take care. All right, bye.
Have a better rest of our day. I'm having a great day.
They assume because something happened
that things must be wrong. But actually, whenever there's an accident or something, Jordan, that's good for YouTube.
Yeah.
So like car brakes, awesome.
Wow.
Anyway, emergency call has ended. Your current location, close.
That's
holy smokes.
crazy.
Okay, so yeah, it took them a minute to answer. That they probably just farmed that out to some, whatever. Dude, the safety systems on this.
Yes.
Okay, one more thing I want to try is when you hold down the hazard button.
Okay.
So I think it's like, okay, let's say your driver is driving and they become incapacitated or something, and like you're a passenger, like, I don't know what to do. I think you can hold this down for 3 seconds, Jordan.
Yep.
This hazard button right here, and force a manual stop. So let's try that. Maybe I should cycle the car. I don't think we need to, but just to make sure everything is like, drive cycle. Sometimes they won't let you.
Yeah.
I don't think this car is like an autopilot jail thing, but it doesn't hurt to turn it off and on. Seatbelt, this, drive. And I'm not even going to put it on driver assistance for this.
Okay.
Dude, that was amazing. Holy
It's the opposite, like you said, of a Kia product.
So Macan Turbo.
Wow.
Sorry.
Things are flying.
Okay, so let's say I'm driving and you want to mess with me, or you're displeased with my driving, or genuinely I have a medical emergency.
Right.
Hold that down for 3 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm just going to pretend to...
Okay.
I'm still on the throttle, and the horn goes, and it's yanking, and it's pulling ABS.
It's doing
on the throttle.
All the same things.
Dude, I'm floored now, and intervention when you go full throttle. But
Okay.
I'm still floored, and look, it's feeding in the power.
Wow.
Onto the floor. And then if I hit the kickdown switch, it'll go.
Interesting.
So it's like, are you sure? And it gave me a 0.7 G-force. Every time you do something like spicy, seatbelts are locked. Gosh, I gotta... when you do something spicy, it gives you the stats in the head-up display.
Yep.
In terms of safety, have we ever tested a car that does as much of this?
I don't think so. So a lot of points right there.
Wow. That's just, every automaker should do that, except I think when you come to a stop, leave it in drive with the parking brake on.
Yeah.
Someone made a good point, though, in a previous video that we showed that. I think, I don't know, whatever we just recently tested, that if you happen to have an emergency and your foot is on the throttle,
Right.
you don't want it to pull away. So maybe it is a good thing that you don't freak out.
That's true.
Okay, I could go either way.
Yep. Interesting. All right. We got to score this thing. That was really good.
Holy smokes, Jordan. This is certainly the best sort of emergency safety thing we've experienced. We mentioned that in what car? In the EQS Hogback.
Yep.
That Volkswagen was starting to do some really cool things. And this, of course, is part of the group.
Yep.
So a lot of those, like, interior lights turn on, doors unlock. The fact that it, like, auto called this lady who took like 2 minutes to answer, but that's, whatever. It's really good.
Right. So, yeah, we're giving points for some of those things. Well, actually, for everything. Seatbelt yank, we give 3 points. It doesn't shake the seat. There's no motors in these seats for that, so it's fine. Exterior horn, we give points for that. Hazard lights, brings to a complete stop. The steering did not let go, which a lot of cars do, believe it or not, which is terrifying. And it doesn't pull over the shoulder. And then we should add points for, I guess, calling emergency services and maybe interior lights coming on.
Yeah,
that's
door unlock, and I think we could just add it to. Yeah, we'll change this in post.
Yeah.
But the thing with this test is it's meant to be evolving as systems change over time.
Yep.
And I really love the idea that it's like doors unlocked, interior lights on.
Yeah.
Those are really key items, I think.
Right.
And the emergency services call, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
So I think we give it. I don't know what we will score these on for each. I mean,
Yep.
I really think calling emergency services could be really important.
Yeah.
To have the built-in, SOS function. You also have like a button here where you can flip this down and like a fighter jet call them, which is like pretty cool. Like eject OC. No, call the lady.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. We'll award those some points and figure that out.
Yeah, we got to talk about that maybe during the drive. We'll
Yeah,
discuss that. Okay, but that's some of the best tech we've ever seen.
Yes.
So far.
Yes.
And this is actually where like Tesla scores really well in this test because FSD is amazing.
Yep.
But these are the things I really wish they would work on.
Right. So a lot of good, promising points up front. I mean, not a ton, like there are no eye tracking and sort of automatic lane changing, which we're starting to see with more cars, such as the BMW over there, for another video. But yeah, time to go drive this thing and see exactly how it does when we deduce points.
Yeah, now it's going to be, I don't know what to expect. It could be great or terrible. We'll see. All right, so we are off on the Hogback, which are the most time-intensive videos to make with the least viewership. So someone tell us why we should keep doing these. I think it's super important testing.
It takes less time than a range test.
It does take less time than a range test.
Yeah, the test itself is not too long.
It's just like, I got to get all the way down here. We got to wake up early on a Sunday because the roads are always busy during the week.
Yep.
But it's all good. I do enjoy this comparative testing.
Weekdays are fine. We should do more on the weekdays, I think. But
weekdays are good?
Yeah.
Okay. But either way, we got to do early mornings.
Yeah. So, yeah, heading out. I guess, so question, does this do speed up on turn signal overtake like Taycan?
It does.
Okay, because we've given Taycan a bonus point for that, so
okay.
May as well do that here. And then, I don't know, I was thinking 3 points for calling emergency services.
You think 3 points for that?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Scuderia.
Nice.
With Montana plates. Oh, come on.
Come on.
You know that thing has never been in Montana. I mean, like, I would, if I ever lived in Montana and had a cool car, I would say, like, actually from Montana.
Yeah, or I would get a different plate from a different state.
Non-tax evasion. Yeah. I think you could, yeah, South Dakota's another one you could do.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do the Macan turbo thing and full send on the highway.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. No issues getting up to speed in this one.
No, very easy.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is get the system on as soon as we hit 65 miles an hour. I've engaged adaptive cruise. Nope. Have I? Yes, at 65. Auto steer is on.
Okay.
And we have hit a line. -1.
Hey. Great start.
That buzzing, by the way, is just because the road has shifted. And we're just going to ride that line, I guess?
I guess.
Oh, okay, there we go. Dude, actually, like, way better, though. Every car seemingly, like, has a hard time getting started there.
Right. That's impressive.
But that was really good.
Yep.
And, yeah, let me just double-check the capacitive wheel thing. As we, you know, they just need to pave over this. It is a capacitive wheel.
Right.
But what's nice is I can actually move the vehicle in lane a little bit without it canceling auto steer. So it's not like autopilot or Rivian Driver Plus, where it's like my way or the highway. It's it does allow you to like move around some things like that. And then as soon as I let off the steering, it'll go back to where it wants to go. But this would be a good opportunity to see if I can lock it to the right side of the lane, Jordan.
Yeah.
So let's just force it over here as we're coming back over the line. And I'm keeping pretty hard pressure. It just gave me a little buzz for touching the line.
It's crazy that's still activated though.
Yeah, it's still activated, and it, you know, obviously sprung left, but it doesn't seem to want to hold the side of the lane like Taycan does.
Interesting.
So that's a bit of a bummer.
Yep.
But anyway, this system feels totally different than Taycan in a good way.
Yep.
And it's doing this wonderfully. It is hugging a little bit the outside of the corner, I would say. And I did just like, didn't quite hit the line there, but it...
Not super confidence inspiring so far.
Yeah, I agree. EQS kind of did the similar thing where it kind of hugged the outside. So, okay, the test. We are... I've got the G-force meter pulled up here so people can kind of see how jerky or not it is, because it's always hard to experience what we experience. And one thing I've noticed by watching a lot of, but it didn't take the exit ramp nice, watching a lot of the FSD videos on YouTube and other things is when the car does a hard movement or it gets held up, you experience it so much more when you're sitting. Hey, this road's sponsored by Nokian Tyres.
Yep.
As is this video. You experience so much more pressure from the car behind you and this social aspect of, you know, staying within the lane versus like sometimes a lot of driver assistance systems do weird things and it just doesn't come through on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to be critical. For example, here, this is a wide lane. You can see it is doing a little bit of that Tesla thing where it merged right.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back to the end. It was like, oh,
it's a
what's it doing?
wobbly.
Yeah, so super confused for it there.
Yeah.
I would say -1. A lot of cars don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't technically hit a line, but we were over where the unpainted line would have been. A normal driver would never do that. So, Macan in general, Jordan.
I'm pretty impressed. But you mentioned the NVH, the road noise on your way down here. Now I'm hearing some of that with this not a perfect surface.
Yeah, there's more noise coming in here than I would have expected.
Yeah, and I wonder how that would change with different tires. I mean, this is the bit more sporty setup.
They're dead quiet now.
Yep.
So it is a surface issue,
Yeah, exactly.
but also a lot like i7, we're going to run after this.
Yeah.
We won't hear any of that.
No, not as much.
Other than NVH, though.
Other than VH, I mean, it's comfortable. Love these seats.
Yeah, these are the 18-way seats that we have.
I like the driving position. Typically, I don't know. How do you like it in this car?
Yeah, love it. I mean, from my perspective, there is some Audi stuff in here that makes it, certainly it's not a fair comparison to compare this to Taycan, which is a ground-up Porsche platform that then Audi purchased for e-tron GT. This was a joint development between Porsche and Audi. And you definitely feel some of that, but dude, this thing is spicy. The turbo version, it's drifty. If you I've been coming out of corners just like, it just lighten up the rear tires. It's hilarious. The thing that I love about Porsche is the two most important buttons, your hazard and your traction control off button, are the only buttons right there.
That's so cool.
And so it's just like on, sport, traction control off, rip. This vehicle is not equipped with Sport Chrono, which means we don't have the clock. Yeah. And we don't have Sport Plus.
Okay.
But I've configured Sport for my preference of driving, which we're just in normal ride mode right now. This is key up settings. But Sport goes full dump on the suspension and then soft damper.
Yep. Okay. Makes sense.
And it's pretty good. You don't really lose a ton of ride quality in low suspension.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does here, because again, we have another one of those situations with a broken painted line. It's actually moving left for it for some reason. So it knew. It's
inconsistent. It didn't even try taking the exit, but when the on-ramp came on, then it was,
So the interesting thing with this test is it gets harder and harder as we go. And this corner coming up is one of the most important corners to paint a picture as to how this test will go, because it's a sweeping left with a unmarked exit to the right, or unlaned, no dotted line exit. And so let's see what it does. Will it take the exit or will it hug the corner? Make your prediction.
It'll try the exit briefly.
You think it'll try the exit? Dude.
No.
Didn't even think about it.
Wow. That's good.
That's really good. And I'm just, again, keeping my hand just lightly on the back of the wheel for the capacitive portion.
Okay.
So, a totally different story than Taycan here.
Yeah.
This is actually usable.
Yep.
And driving it down here, I had the same impression as well. We'll talk about lane changes coming up here, just because we have a slow camper that, I don't know, maybe by the time we reach the crest, he'll do 1,000,000 miles an hour with the brakes on fire.
Downhill,
But I already have in my head-up display him marked out as green. So the vehicle has picked him up. You can see it is showing vehicles around us.
Yep.
And that vehicle is green.
Yep.
And, it's cool in the head-up display. Oh, I think it just gave us the lane departure warnings audible signal, but not nothing else. There was no reason for it.
Weird.
Lane centering didn't freak out. So I'm going to initiate a manual lane change, where as soon as I hit the turn signal, the green car is now marked over there, so it accelerated.
Cool.
And as soon as I hit this line, steering came in, and my head-up display augmented reality showed these green dots hugging the lane all the way out, almost to the Jeep.
Wow.
It's huge. It's unbelievable. The head-up display is maybe one of the best. EQS also has one of the best, but this has all this augmented function that even the display where it shows directions and speed and all of that stuff actually go around the corner ahead of me.
That's really interesting.
So it's not just straight in front of you, it's straight where your eyes should be looking into the corner.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's expensive. This is like a $2,000 head-up display or $2,200 on Macan 4. The thing is, with Porsche, as you spec up 4S, turbo, the options prices get less.
Okay, makes sense.
So if you're going to build out, auto speed limit 55, so it auto adapted there.
Cool.
Props to Porsche on that. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you're going to spec up like a 4, a turbo or 4S isn't that much more on a fully spec'd car.
Interesting.
And by isn't much, I mean, maybe 10 grand, but that's less than 10%.
Yeah, on a Porsche.
Yeah. So I think the options and pricing,
yep,
as long as you're reasonable, are good. I think my mom's spec is like mid-90s, and she got all of the driver assistance, massaging seats. It's a lot of car for the money.
I think she'll like it.
Yeah. We also have, right now what I've selected is the turnaround point in the navigation. And when we pulled out of the parking lot, it predicted a 36% arrival. Obviously, I was driving a bit quicker earlier than just right at.
Yeah.
I mean, I always drive at the posted speed limit, but the posted speed limit was higher. And now it's at 37. So we're being more efficient than it predicted.
I mean, how do you think this will fare in the range tests and such?
So I've done a range test on the Macan 4 on Arrows in California.
Right.
But we didn't run it all the way out. It wasn't like one we put a number on on the website. And it did 325 miles.
Dang.
So I think my mom's car on the perfect day would do 350.
Yep.
And this, on the big wheels being the turbo with the bigger inverter in the back, it's I think a 900 amp inverter, silicon carbide in this one. I think my guess is 320.
Right.
Which is way more than EPA.
That's pretty good.
Dude, I'm really impressed with the system.
Yeah, we have to keep talking about the car because the system's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, that's right. But it is our first Macan test to go up.
And I have to say, we're getting passed by everyone because there is no speed limit offset. It auto changed to 55. Everyone's doing 70.
Well, and we always run the speed limit in this test, and that is the most dangerous thing you can do in Colorado.
Right. If you go the actual speed limit.
Yes. But since we're on camera and, we're doing a laboratory style test.
Yeah.
The only section where we don't run the speed limit is when it goes to 45 up ahead, because genuinely we will get hit.
Yep. So for safety reasons, we have to.
go 55. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. So in terms of the road tripping, like driver assistance, this is really my first time living with the system. Dude, I have experienced it when I drove the car in France for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I really liked it, whatever. But you don't know until you get it on your own roads and a market-specific car and here.
Yeah.
And it's doing so good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even that much laziness. No ping-ponging. It got confused a couple times back there. We have another one of those exit situations here. Let's see how it does. But just capacitive wheel, you just keep your hand on the wheel. There's no eye tracking. So if you look away to adjust your Spotify or whatever, it's not dinging at you.
Yeah, that gets annoying.
Do you see your passenger display, by the way?
Yep, I do.
It's black to me.
Oh, nice.
And so...
Yeah, I've got
and it
G-Force
didn't
here.
take the exit.
Yeah.
I wonder if the GoPro's picking it up or not, because to me it looks like the screen's off.
That's wild.
Yep, so that's another huge safety thing. And then when it comes in park, the screen, to me,
Yeah.
is shown again. But it looks genuinely black like that.
Nice.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's great tech.
Yeah, so at night, Alyssa was saying when she was driving, she could make out some icons, but during the day here, I can't.
Yep.
Genuinely can't see anything.
Yeah, I can see our elevation, 7,600. Forgot to mention that. We climb and descend a lot. I mean, you can tell on camera, but this is just a part of our big section of I-70. Love going through all the way to Grand Junction.
Oh. We didn't hit it, but almost.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit, I don't know, we called it bumbling barge effect.
It's got the EQS thing going on here, so whatever's coming out of Stuttgart.
The roads over there are pretty straight.
Yeah, so let's see if it'll go to 45 here. So it read the sign, it is lowering, but I'm bumping the speed to 55 because you can see everyone is just hammering us. I am going to manual lane change into the left, to avoid getting a flat tire on some of those potholes, but also there's some trucks up ahead that we don't want to hit. The head-up display is so cool.
Yeah.
So what's neat is when I adjust the distance, it will actually show a whole line of how close or far I want to be from the vehicle.
Wow.
And if there's a car in the view, it cuts out, so it's not distracting. It's still a little bit distracting.
Okay.
There's so much information up there. I think the right lane ends here shortly. Anyway, we should be able to pass this truck without causing major issue. Yeah, here we go. Now this is confusing. We got lines, broken pavement, all this stuff, and we're following some big ass tires. So let's see what happens. We can't go for a pass, so we're just stuck here.
What do you think of the lighting effects on the side with the blind spot monitoring?
Yeah, so this is what's called the communication light, which is the most Porsche name for something ever. And I don't like it. It's a little bit distracting.
Yeah.
And you can turn off function by function what you want or don't want. We do have to initiate a pass here, Jordan.
Yep.
But there's no room, so we're just kind of sitting here. And it is a good test because following a truck is sometimes really difficult for these systems. So here we go, get up. The only thing is we want to make sure we're in the right lane for the really tough thing. Are these even strapped down?
Somehow.
I'm taking over. I don't think he crossed into our lane. It just felt like we were getting really...
He's got his little crane.
This person's literally beeping at us for going 10 over.
Wow. See, this is why we do that.
Yeah, sorry. If we went 45, look at this person walking on the highway.
Wow.
Manual lane change.
This is a treacherous section of road for many reasons.
I mean, the best way to drive this section is just flat out. Just get through it as quickly as possible. It is genuinely scary to drive this slow.
Yep.
And then to have someone walking that far. There's no room for them to walk.
Yeah, terrifying.
They should walk over there. Gosh dang. Anyway.
Wow. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I was expecting worse. Maybe it's because of Taycan,
So-
which is notably not done well in this, in any case.
Yeah, but we have the new Taycan with the updated system.
Yep.
Still don't think it's going to be as good as this.
No.
It is interesting that they're branded the same with
Yeah.
completely different functioning experiences. Again, another person we're holding up just gave us a little flash. Sorry. Oh, what's it going to do? What's it going to do? Perfect.
Wow.
This is one of the toughest corners through here. Oh, over the line. It said driver takeover required.
So, this
Technically-
engagement with warning, basically.
Oh, what's it going to do? Oh.
Wow, it did that.
It did that. Okay, so I would say disengagement with warning.
Yeah.
Although I should have probably taken over early.
Mhm.
I think it's technically a -1 because I should have
Okay.
come in. It didn't like give up until it was
Yeah.
gone. All right, here we go. Another really tough corner, Jordan. Bumps. Actually, you can tell the car's skipping a little
Yeah. But it's doing it.
bit. Yeah. So certainly not on the pace of Tesla or some of those other vehicles, but for what I would be looking for in a system,
Yeah.
and probably you would do manual driving through here. Most people. Oh, sorry. Yeah, -1.
Yeah.
It just did not turn quick enough. So I took over there, and we're back to the system.
I mean, that's always been my impression with Innodrive, was just any sort of tight corner it really struggled with.
Yeah, but even like that, it just needs
It's
to
doing
hug
some
the
of them.
inside of the corner a bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And I would say like turn early. The EQS also like dives into a corner and then whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like just look a bit farther ahead. The head-up display knows what's coming, so like it knows there's a turn.
Yeah.
And now we're coming to our turnaround point. Are we going to hit the line? No. And then we'll see if it takes the exit for us. And if it does, it's nice, but we deduct points because it's technically not per spec.
Right.
So what's it going to do?
It did the same thing it did last time. We're like went
Yeah,
away from it.
So anyway,
Weird.
halfway through, Jordan.
I mean,
And-
not the most confidence inspiring from the passenger seat, because of kind of that. Just I don't know. We called it bumbling barge. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, where it like is just like a little bit confused all the
Yeah.
time. Now we have a green light. Now we have a yellow light. And
Yeah.
we're making it.
Green means go, yellow means go faster. And we're behind a white Subaru Forester.
Oh gosh, well,
Colorado.
you know, skip forward 10 minutes for the
Yeah.
acceleration because Foresters at elevation make 0 power. What is our elevation, by the way?
It is 7,335 feet.
Okay, wonderful. And should we just do a quick launch onto the highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, since we need to get up to speed safely.
Yep.
Left foot hard on brake, flooring it with the right. Launch control,
Yo, I closed my laptop.
and we're up to speed. Okay, back to normal drive mode.
Nice.
Suspension normally. See, we just had to merge safely.
Yeah, that's normal.
Okay, so we're going to lock the system back on at 55. And again, you can do some really cool things that I don't think we actually
It locked on really quickly, by the way.
locked on quickly. Did we show all of this at the beginning?
Yep.
The speed limits, route, and lane
Yep.
keeping? Okay. And it goes 45, so I'm going to lock it to 55. And somehow, Jordan, we always noticed vehicles doing worse on this test. Normally, I'd move over for this car, but we do have someone right next to us.
Yeah, it seems abandoned.
Yeah, it's abandoned. And so it somehow is more difficult for cars to go in this direction. So let's see how it does. Instantly, it actually turned pretty quickly on that one.
It's still scary from my seat, but
Yeah, hit the line on the exit, and everything buzzed.
yeah.
So that's technically, -2.
Yep.
And what about here? It is just going wide, but we're
Yeah.
not hitting the line.
But it's okay.
And here comes the corner of death.
It used to be extra deadly. Now it's
Yeah, now they at least have a painted line, and there is no one to the left of us. So let's
pretty
see
good.
what happens here, Jordan.
The cars just go straight.
Dude, it completed the corner of death.
Doing.
Oh no, we hit the line.
Yep.
So every time it dings when it hits the line, why do we deduct more points than when I have to take over when it doesn't ding?
Well, that's when it, like, if it disengaged. But
Oh, it didn't disengage.
Disengage.
I didn't even put in torque.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's -1.
-1, just
Yep.
clipping the line. I see. And you can actually give, whatever we gave -2 before then,
Okay.
should be -1. Didn't quite clip the line there, but it wasn't smooth. I
No.
keep looking in the mirror to see if we touch the
I keep
tire touches.
I keep looking down, then I look back up. I'm like, oh god.
Now, will it auto go to the speed limit even though I've manually selected? No, smart.
Remembers. Cool.
Unlike Mercedes,
Right.
which every time it was like full brakes.
Yeah. Coming up on a Sprinter.
Yeah, it looks just like mine.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to buy a Winnebago Revel, by the way,
Yeah.
I literally haven't used it in a year. We are selling it.
Yeah.
It's just sitting at the hub, clogging up space. If it was electric, I'd use it more, but every time I go out, we really can't make a video with it.
Right.
So we end up road tripping cars for videos when I'd much rather road trip that and
Yeah.
like have my whole house with me on wheels, but we're just testing cars too much.
Right. I mean, the Kyle Connor channel could use it, but it's like, if you're doing a road trip, may as well take something electric.
So, yeah, something electric and interesting. So, yep, Sprinter is going to go.
So will they do any Winnebago EV stuff?
So the problem with the e-Sprinter is there's not enough payload.
Right.
And they did an e-Transit built on the Lightning e-motors, actually. So it was
Yeah.
electric Winnebago built on Lightning e-motors. Lightning e-motors went out of business.
Yep.
And so that never happened.
Right.
But I can't wait for an electric full-size camper. ID Buzz is not,
No.
big enough for anything.
Although with ID Buzz, with not having a huge battery, maybe means more payload for other
It's
situations.
less than 1,000 pounds payload.
Oh, never mind. A lot of compromise with that.
Yeah, a lot of I think that's also why they didn't put a bigger battery in it.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're coming up on the Sprinter. I'm going to hop into the passing lane, although I do like to see how this exit works, but we just need to maintain speed as well. The lane changes, how quickly it re-engages steering is pretty incredible, Jordan.
Yeah.
Maybe my expectations were so low, and that's why I'm so impressed here. Let's see what it does here. This is going to be tough.
Oh.
Clip the line.
Yep.
Yep, but I didn't have to put in torque.
Okay.
Yep.
So it tells you to take over, but then it does do its own takeover.
Yeah, so it's like, here's everything I can give it,
Yeah.
is what it feels like. And so there must be a steering angle limitation or a G-force limit as to what the maximum the system will go to. Again, I would go to the right lane, but we are holding up like someone's passing us. Very slowly passing, might I add.
Yeah, I've got my, what'd you call these lights?
Communication.
Communication. Is it an acronym, PCL?
Yeah.
Porsche Communication Lights.
It should be. Yeah, so overall, okay, pretty pleased here. Totally worth the $900 and just around $1,000 option for Innodrive.
Yeah.
It includes active lane centering. It includes route-based speed adaptation, which actually was grayed out when I first got this car, and I think it required some calibration miles.
Oh, okay.
And so I picked up this car with like 100 miles on it. We have like 250 miles now, something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, so that seemed to like need some calibration.
Yep.
And what else should we say about it? It has another function, lane keeping. Oh, and adapting to speed limits, but no offset.
Yeah, it seems like a good
That should be
system.
standard.
I feel like this system should be standard. Like, why does a base Model 3 have autopilot?
Yeah.
And you have to add that to your Porsche.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if it's a function where all the cars come equipped with the hardware for it, and then you can download, like on Taycan,
Oh.
if you don't spec lane centering, you can download that. And I did a whole video where, Drive separate from active lane keeping and all this, stuff. I already showed that in our previous Taycan Cross Turismo
Yep.
Hogback, but I can't wait to run the new one in here.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, this is just a good system. Better than I expected. Maybe my expectations were low like yours.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is this would be such a great road tripping machine.
Absolutely.
Because if it had terrible driver assistance, it would annoy me enough to maybe want to road trip something else.
Like this Quicksilver Model Y coming up.
Yep.
They're looking at the Macan. Did you see
Beautiful,
that?
yeah.
They're like checking
They were
this
thinking
thing.
about it. Yeah. They're like, damn it, we just bought this.
Yeah, exactly. And they definitely did just buy it because it is Quicksilver.
Yeah, and they're almost running over the line up there too.
Yeah, but he was driving like this.
Yeah.
Not on autopilot.
Right.
I don't think most people actually use driver assistance on these stretches of road.
I agree.
But that's why we test them here, just because it does showcase the system in an extreme environment. But when you're on gentle curving roads like this, it does go to the outside. I keep saying it.
Yeah.
That's a bit unnatural. But on a straight road, under normal situations, dude, you can just set this thing, put your hand very lightly here, and then it just will go forever.
Well, again, that's the thing. This is a treacherous road. We have sometimes comments are like, I have no issues with the system, but they also live in like Kansas.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, it'd be amazing. A lot of systems that struggle here would still be good elsewhere. So I feel like if you love a car enough, maybe don't buy it just because of this ADAS test. But if you are like a Colorado person, especially, or even just want to be able to go anywhere. I mean, you said there's some roads.
Look, it even shows that we're accelerating.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the graphics and everything are so cool.
Like you said, there's some roads near your dad, and there's some other roads out here that aren't actual, because we used it on this road because it's pre-mapped for the cars that are limited to that.
Yeah, so like Super Cruise works here,
Right.
for example, which we have to run the new Sierra
Yeah.
and some other stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm thrilled that this car is not limited to pre-mapped. That would just be such a disappointment to me.
I have one complaint.
Okay.
Sometimes the head-up display animations don't line up with the cars in front. So like we were just on the uphill and that Honda was sort of on flat ground, and where it was supposed to highlight to say, hey, I see him up there, that's what I'm paying attention to.
Okay.
It was like way above the car when normally it's supposed to be underneath.
Yep.
I'm going to give it a -1 just because the head-up display sometimes is slightly distracting.
Okay. Yeah.
But not every Macan will become equipped with head-up display,
Yep.
and you can also decontent it without all the augmented stuff. But I feel like I want the augmented stuff most of the time. But sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, when it's showing the corner lines,
Yeah.
sometimes it like doesn't match up with the road perfectly.
Did this exit perfectly.
Did that perfectly. Dude, everyone at Porsche was saying like this is going to suck in this test. I kind of asked them about it. They're like, oh, it's going to do really badly in the Hogback. And surprisingly, it didn't do great in the build quality, and it's doing great here.
That's the opposite of what I expected.
I know. So the leader in this test, which I didn't know actually, because you remathed everything.
Yeah.
And so I titled the EQS video, and I had no idea it won.
Oh, really?
You never told me.
Oh,
And I didn't watch to the end.
Yeah.
until after it was posted. I was like, oh crap, we should have done like a better title.
It?
I was like, the EQS takes on the Hogback or something,
Yeah.
and no one watched it. But if they were like, this is the best driver assistance system on the market, then people would have watched it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say that because I didn't know it was,
Well, I mean, we said in the end of our video that it was pretty much the best.
top
but
3.
Yeah.
I thought
Had-
Tesla had it beat, but we haven't run the new 1256
Yeah.
end-to-end
That would
FSD.
be very interesting.
Yeah, we have a Tesla test car,
Yep.
seemingly turning into a long-term test car. They just haven't asked for it back.
Right.
And we said, hey, can you update it with 1256? And they were like, no.
I don't know why they said no, but they just said not possible. It's a very German response.
Yeah, that's like something Porsche would say. Not possible. It's the German's favorite thing to tell you.
Yeah. So we'll just wait for it to come to our German's car. Andreas.
Andreas will hopefully get it soon on
Yeah.
his, yes. Okay, so now it's time to start into the final descent. Sorry to the truck that we're holding up. Really apologize.
Yeah, it's weird to get passed by a semi.
Yeah, gosh, he's boogieing too. He's about to pass that Mitsubishi. What's he going to do here? On the inside? Oh, he's going to take the racing line.
Wow, nice.
King Supers.
He's on a mission.
You just watch him putting in more front steering. Oh, so it did the same thing again where it
Oh,
hit a line twice. We freaked out that F-150.
yep.
So that's actually, yeah, -1 in theory, but the car would think -2.
Yeah.
Every time it does that, though, it does self-correct.
It does,
So it
yeah.
like knows I'm wrong.
Yep.
So just turn earlier.
Yep.
But the score must be good, dude.
Yeah, we're positive.
That's
mean,
amazing for a
so-
Porsche.
so
What
back-
was the Taycan?
Let's see.
Didn't take that exit.
The Taycan had a -11.
-11.
Yes. Well, partially because it didn't have as much points up front.
Yeah, the new one has capacitive wheel.
Yeah.
Actually, the very early Taycans had a capacitive wheel.
Okay.
And then they went to a torque sensing wheel.
Interesting.
And now they're back to a capacitive wheel.
Okay. So that would have helped it, but not saved it.
Right. This is so much better.
And we've had no disengagements without warning, where the Taycan had done that a few times.
Yes, Taycan will just shut off steering.
Yeah.
When it gets confused. This doesn't seem to do that.
Yeah.
And it also has that, just props again, that amazing emergency stop function.
Yeah, which again, I mean, with points on that, doors unlocked, interior lights on, would you give each of those?
Slowing down to 45, don't do that. I didn't see a 45 sign. I thought it was trucks 45.
Yeah. And some cars do read those, and it's really annoying. It's like, if you can read the number, just read the letters above it that say why the number doesn't apply to you.
Right. Yeah. Did we give it a -1 for that? I don't know, because I didn't really look at the sign. We could go back and review the footage.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it might show up later. I'm not too worried about it.
But yeah, would you give a point for doors unlocked, give a point for interior lights on? Like, those are little things, but nice things.
We should talk about that. So how are we going to score those new functions that we haven't seen in vehicles before? I think interior lights turning on is a bonus, just 1
Yep.
point. So
That's what I'm
1
thinking.
there. I think the door unlocking when you come to a stop, so it's like come to a stop and then door unlock, would be also another point.
Yep.
Actually, maybe even 2 points.
I would say 2, maybe. That's a serious thing, honestly.
Yeah, I think because you don't have to, like, these windows are like
Yeah.
glazed, it's hard to break them or whatever. And so I think that's a real benefit. 2
Yep.
points.
Yep.
Or 3. What do we give anything else? What do we give, like seatbelt and horn?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess seat shaking 2, seat belt yank is 3, horn is 2, hazard lights is 2.
Honestly, I think the door unlock is almost more important.
Yeah. So that could be a 3.
I
And
think
then
it's a 3.
calling emergency services. 2. Yeah. Because that wasn't a very fast call.
But also, like, it doesn't seem that useful to me.
Yeah.
But maybe the comments have had some experience with it. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with someone where one of these SOS functions has saved someone.
And I guess it is edge.
Did
It's
good.
a little.
But a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bumbling barge.
I guess it's one of those edge case things where it is an edge case, but in those edge cases, like, life-saving.
Well,
So-
life saving seems important, Jordan.
Yeah, 12 points.
Wow, the new Macan wins. Okay.
I
Have
almost
we
think-
ever seen another car call emergency services?
I haven't. I almost think.
Mercedes?
No, it didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
I almost think 3. I think that's just a.
I'll let you get 3
Yeah.
and see what the comments think. We can always adjust later.
Yeah. Curious what the comments say on all of those emergency features. Honestly, like, I think a lot of them are a big deal. This
What
whole
did-
test is a big deal.
Yeah, I think so. What did we give EQS negative points wise for bumbling barge? Because I would say this is on par with that.
Yeah. We gave that a -1. for
Okay.
Basically, lazy lane centering.
Okay, then match that.
Yep.
It feels like it should be -2. But
I mean, we also give this -1
that
for
felt
the.
almost worse than
We also give this -1 for the wobbly with unpainted lines, like when it goes wide for the exits.
Oh, okay. Well, then it adds up to -2.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, broken lines is difficult for it.
Yep.
It's definitely one of those systems that's not really using like AI to determine what type of road and where you
Right.
should be placed. It's like very primitive compared to what Tesla is doing.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you just have lines, then it works pretty well.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's kind of what I want out of a car.
Yep.
Not to say I don't like MSD. I do love playing around with it, and I have it on my car. But for just highway cruising, just wanted to stay in the lane. And I kind of like that it doesn't do auto lane changes, because I've never driven a system that has like good auto lane change.
Yeah.
In terms of picking the right time and doing everything. It
Yeah, they get annoying a lot.
didn't hit the line, but again, we already gave it the negative points for the bumblingness.
Yep.
So we turned around at what, 37%? We're at 35% now.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit of climbing, a little bit of back down.
Yeah, I do love that it tells us, sort of the temperature range, the battery that you need to be in. But
Yeah.
Taycan tells you your peak charging rate.
Yep.
If your initial plug-in charging rate, Macan does not.
That's a miss.
That's a miss.
That's
Especially because like Taycan has it,
yeah. Again, this has
and ID Buzz has it,
that's crazy.
and ID4 has it,
Yeah.
and ID4 has a function this car doesn't have.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like Porsche takes charging so seriously. Did we just pass? We must have just passed the speed limit.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. And then we're coming up to the final quarter, Jordan.
Will it exit for us?
Let's see if it does. Would be nice.
Would be nice, would be wrong.
Would be wrong. So let's see how it handles this. It is hugging the inside. It doesn't even seem phased.
No.
And then
Totally
we're good.
fine.
And take off.
Cool.
Great.
So we had no auto disengagements.
Wow. That's
which is nice.
amazing, actually.
Yeah, that's rare. So we're ending with a positive 15, which is huge
Really?
points over Taycan, largely because the Taycan disengages without warning sometimes.
Yeah, this is just a much better system overall. And unless you're on the tightest of corners, it's going to be awesome for road tripping. I still can't believe it's not standard.
Yeah.
Can we give it a -1 just for them not including it?
Wholeheartedly agree.
Like, yeah, that's just annoying. Like, you know, I get specking headlights and brake lights, and, you know, if you want a seatbelt, they charge you for that.
Yep.
Just joking, of course, for anyone who doesn't get sarcasm. But this should be a standard system. To your point, a base Model 3, this is just expected technology.
Yeah.
You know, cars have air conditioning. You don't have to spec air conditioning. This should be a standard function.
You used to have to spec air conditioning. So it's like maybe these functions will become more and more standard, but
and you can actually de-spec air conditioning on certain Porsches.
which is wild. Yeah, maybe in the future they'll have you de-spec lane centering and stuff because you don't want the hardware weighing down your 911.
Right. But by regulation now, like most markets in Europe especially require forward collision warning and all of these lane things.
Yeah. So
all right, final score is what? 14?
14.
Where does that place?
That's really quite good. That's above actually the last Sierra we tested.
Really? So it beats Super Cruise?
Yes, and just below Ford's Blue Cruise.
Wow. Yeah, I would say it's pretty comparable to Blue Cruise, but Blue Cruise now does lane changes. It's been updated.
Yep.
And we have a new Mach-E coming with the new system.
So that'll be really interesting. And this has beat every Model 3. Of course, we need to test the new Model 3 with the new highway stack.
Yeah.
But this has notably beat Tesla.
Yeah, at least in the scoring.
So
because this got so many safety points.
Yes, exactly. So that's a lot of difference. We still had a total of 7 incidents where you took over steering.
Yeah. And with the Tesla stuff, how many?
I think those were a bit less incidents. Yeah, the first Model 3 we did 5, the next one did 4. So overall, yeah,
those are still better using systems.
Right.
And that's just my impression as a someone we're lucky to drive everything.
Those feel a bit more confidence inspiring from the passenger seat. So
yeah, totally. But I mean, this actually, I didn't expect this to do nearly as well as it did.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, Macan's actually, like, Porsche's always been the driver's choice, and like driver assistance kind of has sucked. But dude, that rocked. Huge props to the safety on this driver takeover with all that stuff. I think that needs to be in every car.
Yep.
I mean, I do get where you could like mess with your friend if you're joking or whatever and hold the hazard down, but I really think we're just like young and stupid, and like that comes to mind. I don't see like my dad doing that to my mom.
Yeah.
She would like, you know, that could actually cause a panic situation.
It's like you can also move the seats from the second row in the Kias. So
there's Andreas in the BZ4X upcoming video.
Andreas, you look great in that car.
Yeah.
You should buy one.
Is he flipping us off?
No, he was doing this.
Oh, he's liking it. Okay. All right, so there you go. BZ4X. Can't wait to see how that does.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The Macan Electric. Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Damn. Really good.
Beat our expectations. Beat Porsche's expectations.
Yeah, Porsche was like, it's not going to do well.
So, all right. Another one down. On to the next.
On to the next. Thanks for watching. See you in another one again soon. Props to Porsche. Bye-bye.